Welcome to ADHDragon. Oh, no, that's the right scene. ADHDragon, where we just hang out, chat about ADHD or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're just here to have a good time and maybe learn some things. If not, cool. Does the beard tickle? I mean, you want to find out? Sorry, that was before. But I don't know you, but I just want to know you were created for a purpose. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I believe that. I do have a purpose. I feel like I'm starting to fulfill that purpose. And I truly believe that everyone does have a purpose, but I think a lot of people are looking for their purpose to be grandiose in a way. Like some big, widely noticeable thing. And I honestly believe that while those are important, it's the smaller, less noticeable, and honestly often less thanked purposes and more difficult are the more important ones. You're calling me dad. Well, I mean, you can call me dad as long as I can claim you on my taxes. What's my safe food this week? Honestly, my safe foods tend to not change. So it's usually always cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, pizza are like the consistent safe foods. And like it's honestly, no matter how many times I try to break the cycle, it never happens. So I'm just gonna embrace it and just kind of stick with it. How old were you when you diagnosed? It was a 1 month before my 34th birthday. So it's been almost 2 years since my diagnosis, but it's been about 2.5 years since I've been on this journey, because it took me time from research, therapy to diagnosis. How can you tell it's ADHD or narcissistic abuse that cause ADHD characteristics? Well, I can already answer that with 100% certainty. There is nothing that can cause ADHD. ADHD is a genetic disorder that you are born with. It is something that is inherited from a parent. And depending on which statistic that you look at, there's about a 40% chance if a single parent is ADHD to pass it on to their child. If both parents are ADHD, then it's about an 80% chance. Now, narcissistic traits, those tend to be from trauma or abuse and things of that nature. So anybody who is diagnosable narcissistic personality disorder, that is from trauma, unhealed trauma. But someone can have traits of narcissism without being diagnosable narcissist. There is a big distinction between the two, because someone who has traits can have the ability to overcome them a lot easier than someone who is diagnosable. I have ADHD too. Do you always get really anxy around small groups of people? For me, small groups of people are more comfortable. It's the larger groups of people that I start getting anxious. Hate my eating habits. All I eat are the same things. I understand that, because like you want to try new foods, but sometimes you just can't, because like you know what is good. So you just eat what you know is good. Just embrace it. Try not to shame yourself for it. Having a good relationship with food is important, because we can easily develop eating disorders. Embrace the safe foods. Embrace the things that your brain latches onto, and then just try to pepper in some things that are different every now and then. I drink smoothies to kind of add that flavor. So like I'll put fruit and greens and stuff in it so I can at least get something healthy in me. Oh, there's a bird outside my window. He's just chilling. It's a cute bird. Do I take any meds? Yes, I am on Adderall extended release twice a day. I was misdiagnosed as bipolar, then BPD. My son, autistic. Doctor suggests I get tested. Ta-da, ADHD. I'm sorry that happened to you. That is often the case, especially women that get misdiagnosed. I think it's like 1 in 4 women get diagnosed out of men. Overstimulation is personalized for everyone, but in your opinion, what is your best ways of relaxing? Best ways for relaxing for me is detaching from stimulation. Detaching from the TikTok scrolling. Basically kind of going without electronics for a little bit, which I'm not shaming electronics. I live on them. I'm a social media person. I stream all the time. I love it. But for me to really truly unwind, I need to detach. I need to go out into nature. I need to enjoy the present moment. And I think TikTok sometimes pulls us out of the present moment. What professions are ADHD people more likely to choose? That is a good question. ADHD people tend to choose high-stress jobs. At least they tend to thrive in those. That's one side of ADHD. So like kitchen staff tends to be a pretty good place for ADHD people. Sales is a good place for ADHD people because of the competitive nature of it. Like anything that is high pressure and that is a constant stream of movement or things to do, that can be really good for ADHD. On the flip side, some ADHD people don't like that high pressure and high stress, and they much prefer autonomy, so they can go at their own pace and that they can make their own choices and work in the path that is best suited for their brain. A lot of ADHD people are entrepreneurs. Like they start their own business because they have that freedom. I work in a behavior unit in a school for kids aged 5 to 11. I guess my spicy brain helps me relate. That for sure. Mental health work is a good place for ADHD people too, because we tend to be very empathetic, we tend to be understanding, and we also a lot of us are capable at looking at different avenues when it comes to problems and how someone is acting. Autistic people especially are really good at pattern recognition. Now, there are different applications of that. Some autistic people are really, really good at behavioral pattern recognition in people. That's actually something that I'm really good at. And others are going to be more pattern recognition in like math or figuring out puzzles or difficult things that have like patterns to them that are not related to behavior. What was your first day on ADHD medication like? That is a very interesting and unique thing that people go through, because it's like, oh, this is how normal people think. There's nothing going on. Like I can just do things. I don't have to sit here and work up the energy to do things. With ADHD medication, it was clarity. Like the sun coming out on a very long, stormy, difficult life. Things really started making sense. Can you define what spice is? Flavor. In this sense, it's like anything that is adding flavor to something. So not necessarily like, you know, when a lot of people say like spicy, they tend to mean like hot peppers and things like that, which some people have hot pepper brains, but other people have flavorful brains. It's just a little bit, you know, we can kind of consider that the neurotypical brain is the white bread. Not to insult anyone that is neurotypical, it's just like that is like baseline. You know, that is the atypical experience that the majority of the population has. That is why it's called neurotypical. The neurodivergent is anything that is not typical. So how the brain develops is going to be a little bit spicier. It's going to have a little bit more flavor to it. So the experience of someone that is neurodivergent is going to be different.